So Friday night was a dramatic night in the CAF presidential race. Well, we knew that Patrice Motsepe was running against three others in Jacques Anoma of the Ivory Coast, Augustin Signor of Senegal, as well as Ahmed Yahya of Mauritania. Well, those three are no longer in the race after they pulled out one after the other. They fell like dominoes since late Friday night, and I'm joined by African football analyst Elasto Kapowezha to hone in on the happenings, the goings on over the past weekend. Elasto, thank you so much for your time. A dramatic weekend, but we did expect that at some point this would happen.
Good morning, Benji. Good morning to the viewers. Yeah, indeed. As with any elections, such things are bound to happen, Benji. It seems as if there's been talks behind the corridors leading up to the three candidates really rallying their support, forming a historic alliance, making sure, paving the way for Dr. Patrice Motsepe to rise to the throne of this CAF president. Yeah, but there is still someone out there that is the incumbent, Ahmad, not yet down and out, still some cases that needs to be resolved as well.
Let's talk about Ahmad, the incumbent president of CAF. It's, I don't know what to call it. Motsepe is still looking over his shoulder at the moment. He cannot relax as yet. Can South Africans or Motsepe supporters throughout the continent really say he is the president at the moment, or can we expect a twist from today?
Look, Benji, it will be a miracle to the proportions of the biblical resurrection of Jesus Christ himself. If you look at the odds that are heavily staked against Ahmad, yes, the hearing is happening today. That is his appeal. Remember, Ahmad was banned by the FIFA Ethics Committee for 5 years. He appealed through the Court of Arbitration for Sport, who temporarily reinstated him as the president of CAF, giving him little hope to stand in this election. But again, today we'll know whether he'll be able to run this race or not. Even if it has to go his way, that is the appeal, it's highly unlikely, Benji, that it will be a complete exoneration of all the sanctions, which doesn't help the cause, of course. We expect at the very least that he might get a reduced sentence of that 5 year, but still, that does not give him eligibility to run for the rest. It has to be an entire kind of overturn of those sanctions.
Elasto, you mentioned that there's been talks behind the scenes, in the boardrooms, in the corridors, somewhere that would see Patrice Motsepe rise to the top, to the throne, if you like, and the likes of Ahmed Yahya and Augustin Signor be his vice presidents. But this deal was brokered by FIFA President Gianni Infantino. Is it a rise to power that Patrice Motsepe would like? Would he not have preferred to win at the polls as opposed to you know, having the tag of Infantino's man, FIFA's man?
Yeah, look, I think that tag will be with him if this election has to go his way off, or if he has to stand unopposed. It is as if somebody has done him a favor. But Benji, there are so many ways people get elected, rise to the throne, and if the conditions have been set for him to win this election, or for things to be made easier for him, why not? I think we are seeing a united Africa. Of course, the hand of Infantino cannot be understated. Or if you look at what FIFA is doing, it seems as if Motsepe really has that backing of FIFA. But who cares? I think for Motsepe, he's looking at a much bigger picture, wanting to make sure that, yeah, especially with the support of the other candidates that are coming and who might be offered other positions at CAF, really coming to try to make sure and clean up CAF, because I think that's the most important thing. going to the ballot was always going to be difficult, and I think FIFA realized that, and so is Motsepe and the other candidates. So at the end of the day, it's a win-win situation for all the stakeholders.
And now, obviously, Jacques Anouma, the Ivorian, seemed to be isolated by this deal brokered by Gianni Infantino. How does his role, how does he fit now in the equation? We heard that he might come in as Motsepe's special advisor.
Yeah, by virtue of him being the oldest statesman, so to speak, at 69 years of age, a former FIFA executive member, wanted to run before at one stage when Isaiah was at the throne. But yes, he's been given a role that maybe would suit the caliber of the person of Jacques Anouma, just to be an advisor. And I think some compromises, Benji, had to be made. Somewhere, somehow, I wouldn't have seen a Jacques Anouma really winning this election. But there's some role that are set aside for him. At the end of the day, I think all the countries realized that to go toe-to-toe or head-to-head, there were going to be issues and problems. Elections tend to divide at times. But I think this way, Africa has decided that, look, let's just come together. And we all are aware of what Dr. Patrice Motsepe can bring. And of course, his track record speaks volumes.
And the election itself, this coming Friday, was touted as one that would be fiercely contested. That's no longer the case, seemingly. Does it take out the sting? Do we now know what's going to happen, and therefore the Congress has lost the sting that, the excitement that we're all waiting for?
Yeah, I would want football to be the winner over the excitement, over all the shenanigans that are associated with elections, because at the end of the day, sometimes it is the politics that are at play. I think the most important thing, we want the right person to lead African football, whichever way that person comes. I think the football-loving fans of the continent would be pleased with the way things are panning up, because at times they tend to be bloodshed in inverted commas when elections take place, and sometimes it's not always the best person who normally gets elected. But at this moment, it looks like it's a head-hunted candidate, somebody that the whole continent unanimously are agreeing and say, look, instead of us going through the ballot where other factors might be at play, denying us an opportunity to have somebody who could actually transform African football. So I think the way things have happened, I'm pretty much satisfied.
Now, Elasto, let's talk about the son, Patrice Motsepe. And we heard from his father about a week and a half ago that should he be elected, Patrice would be the one who ascends to the throne at Mamelodi Sundowns. By all indications now, he should be moving into the corner office at Krugerkop.
Yes, I think Motsepe Jr. is preparing as the father as well to occupy the offices there in Cairo. Yeah, look, I think that's what Dr. Patrice Motsepe has said, Benji, in his unveiling of his manifesto, that his son definitely will take over, because it might be a conflict of interest, although the rules are not that clear. But for SAFA rules, yes, he cannot be both the president of CAF and also the president of Mamelodi Sundowns. Sundowns is still in the hands of the Motsepes. I'm sure that guiding hand of the father will always be there. I think the fans of Sundowns also would be very happy for the fact that it's not a drastic change. Still, the team remains with the Motsepes, and it's just that continuity. And I'm sure that support that will come from Motsepes is what has made Sundowns to be the force that they are today.
Do we know anything about him, Elasto? Do we know if he had been interested in football or has been, doing anything at the club up until this moment?
Not really. Not much is known about Patrice Motsepe. We haven't heard much about his involvement in football. But you never know. Behind the scenes, he might be just being groomed and watching how Dad is doing things. And again, it's not like Dad will be completely absent. Dad will be there. And of course, the structures of Sundowns are not reliant on one person. I'm sure he should be able to just continue from where the father left off. The team has been doing well on all fronts. So yes, he comes in, a breath of fresh air, new ideas. Hopefully that will come from Patrice Motsepe and just continue from where the father is left off.
As we close it up, Elasto, it's 4 days to the Rabat election, or what was supposed to be an election, the Congress at least. Do we expect in the 4 days that are coming to see anything, any drastic changes? I know already you've said it would take a miracle, but things can still happen.
Yes, Benji. 4 days it's a long time to go before the elections. We never thought that the three candidates would actually, come together and support Dr. Patrice Motsepe. And again, you know what? It's not given, it's not granted that things are going to pan out the way they are looking at the moment. So anything can still happen. We're watching what's happening to Ahmad with his appeal case. But again, no one can deny the fact that at the moment, Patrice Motsepe is sitting comfortably, waiting to be crowned the president of CAF.
Elasto Kapowezha, as always, absolutely a pleasure speaking to you. And as he says, South Africans can expect Patrice Motsepe to be president, barring a miracle in the proportions of Jesus Christ.